Whether considered spiritual phenomena, psychological responses, or a mix of both, they offer a profound glimpse into what may lie beyond life's edge, or at least how our minds process the brink of death. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and click the bell icon so you never miss an update. Though once dismissed as hallucinations or fantasies, NDEs are now the subject of serious academic research, involving fields as diverse as neuroscience, psychology, philosophy, and theology. This video explores what NDEs are, common themes people report, possible scientific explanations, and why they continue to ignite both curiosity and debate. What is a near-death experience? A near-death experience occurs when a person is either clinically dead or very close to death, but survives and recalls extraordinary perceptions or sensations afterward. These experiences often occur during cardiac arrest, coma, or severe trauma. Near-death experiences are typically vivid and, honestly, pretty transformative. People often describe them as feeling more real than real life. They leave lasting impressions and, frequently lead to major shifts in attitudes toward life, death, and spirituality. While every near-death experience is unique, researchers like Dr. Raymond Moody, the author of Life Afterlife, and Dr. Bruce Greyson have identified recurring features across thousands of accounts. 1. Out-of-body experience, or OBE. Many people report a sensation of leaving their physical body, often floating above it and observing medical personnel or their surroundings from a detached vantage point. Some even describe watching themselves being resuscitated in vivid detail. One really common sensation is moving through a dark tunnel, and there's often a light at the end. People often meet deceased loved ones, unknown guides, or spiritual beings. In some traditions, they even describe meeting religious figures like Jesus, angels, or ancestors. A panoramic replay of one's entire life can happen, sometimes experienced in just a flash, but with, full emotional depth. People report seeing how their actions affected others and even feeling emotions from others' perspectives. A deep, overwhelming sense of love, peace, and unity with the universe is, honestly, one of the most frequently reported and emotionally moving aspects. Many people describe being given a choice, or being told, they must return to their body, often reluctantly. Some return after understanding they have a mission to complete, or loved ones to care for. While many interpret near-death experiences as evidence of an afterlife, science offers several potential explanations. So, brain chemistry and oxygen deprivation play a big role here. When the brain is deprived of oxygen, a condition called anoxia, it can lead to things like hallucinations, tunnel vision, and even euphoria. Some researchers suggest that as the brain is dying, it might flood itself with neurotransmitters like DMT or endorphins, which could cause those super vivid images and that overwhelming feeling of peace people sometimes describe. Now let's talk about temporal lobe activity. The temporal lobes are really important for memory, emotion, and perception. When they're stimulated, like say during trauma or even a seizure, they can produce out-of-body experiences, visions, and those intense mystical feelings that some people report. And finally, there's the idea of a psychological defense mechanism. Near-death experiences might actually be a way for the mind to protect itself from the trauma of dying, by creating comforting illusions that are shaped by our personal or cultural beliefs. Some experiences, they actually resemble lucid dreams or REM sleep phenomena. In a few cases, people report being aware of their environment even when they're technically unconscious, which might be, due to preserved hearing. A minority of researchers, interestingly, propose that consciousness may not be fully localized in the brain. Studies have recorded patients with flat EEGs, meaning no measurable brain activity, who later report vivid near-death experiences. These reports honestly challenge current scientific paradigms and fuel debates about mind-body dualism. Regardless of the cause, Near-death experiences often lead to deep personal change. After a near-death experience, many people find themselves with a decreased fear of death. There's often a heightened sense of spirituality or religious belief, though this isn't always connected to organized religion. Folks might also feel a new sense of purpose or mission in life. Greater empathy and compassion for others tends to emerge, and honestly, there's usually a reduced interest in material success. This transformation can be both inspiring and challenging. Some survivors feel isolated, especially if their loved ones or doctors dismiss the experience. That's why support groups, like those organized by the International Association for Near-Death Studies, or IANS, play an important role in helping people process and integrate their experiences. While many features of near-death experiences are universal, the imagery and interpretations often reflect cultural backgrounds. For example, Hindus may report being judged by Yamraj, the god of death. Buddhists might see imagery related to karma and reincarnation. Christians often encounter Jesus, or a being of light. Indigenous people might report journeys to spirit worlds or, ancestors. These differences suggest that while the experience may be neurologically or metaphysically similar, the brain interprets it through familiar cultural and spiritual frameworks. So, let's talk about some famous cases and research. Dr. Eben Alexander, who is actually a neurosurgeon and was once pretty skeptical of near-death experiences, described a profound spiritual journey during a coma in his book called Proof of Heaven. Pam Reynolds underwent a really rare brain surgery that actually involved induced clinical death. She reported a near-death experience during this period, which, has been widely discussed in scientific and philosophical circles. Dutch cardiologist Pim van Lommel published a landmark study in The Lancet back in 2001, documenting near-death experiences in cardiac arrest patients and exploring the possibility of consciousness existing beyond clinical death. Near-death experiences continue to captivate the minds of believers, skeptics, scientists, and spiritual seekers alike. Are they a final flicker of brain activity, a peek beyond the veil, or maybe a fusion of both? The truth may lie somewhere in between. What's undeniable is their profound emotional and psychological impact. Whether a glimpse of the afterlife or an incredible neurochemical event, near-death experiences challenge us to contemplate the nature of consciousness, death, and the possibility that life may not end at the final heartbeat. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give it a like, share it with friends, and tap the bell icon to stay in the loop.